Hello friends, my name is Randy Kutz and I'm running for Congress in Arizona's new 9th Congressional District. My wife Kathy and I have lived, worked, worshipped, and raised our family in the western part of Arizona for nearly 30 years. We have 3 grown kids, 3 grandkids, and a herd of baby kid goats on our little homestead in Waddell. I'm a Marine Corps veteran, a constitutional conservative, and I worked 8 years for former Congressman Trent Franks, who is consistently the most conservative member of Congress and represented much of this new district. For 5 years, I was his chief of staff right here in Washington, D.C., and I'm honored to have Trent's endorsement in this race. Let me jump right into why I'm running. Friends, we are a broke and a broken country, and we are not headed in a good direction. I'm running for Congress to bring effective leadership to Washington and change the trajectory of our nation. Regarding us being broke, we are now $30 trillion in debt, and the president's outrageous budget for the upcoming fiscal year has $6 trillion of additional spending, but there's only $4 trillion of revenue, meaning that there's going to be an additional $2 trillion of deficit spending and further our economic woes. Make no mistake, economic security equates to national security. An avalanche awaits. If we don't have real reforms now, we will be consuming 100% of our tax revenue, paying for entitlements and the interest on the debt, leaving $0 for defense spending or other programs. It is simply not sustainable. But border security and energy security also equate to national security. When we don't know who's coming across the border into our country and we're forced to depend upon buying oil from countries that hate us, friends, it is not sustainable. Regarding us being broken, on every front we have monumental challenges that are making us less secure. And we're facing enormous problems in our country, all the while our elected officials are wrapped around the axle, dysfunctional, unable to lead us to safer and higher ground. We're at war with ourselves in many ways, a rhetorical civil war of politics at the expense of the American people's security, liberty, and peace and prosperity. It is not sustainable. Failed leadership and entrenched self-serving politicians on both sides of the aisle have been kicking the can down the road for far too long. The problems of yesterday, they've not gone away. They've arrived here today, and they're bigger than ever. For example, it's been 20 years since the federal government actually balanced a budget, and going on 30 years since Congress completed its budget process on time and in regular order. Our debt back then was about $5 trillion. Now it's $30 trillion. Through continuing resolutions, we keep funding dumb programs that have not been authorized that equate to over $300 billion annually. This is not sustainable, but I believe it is fixable. But it's going to take real leadership that's focused on real problems using real congressional authority to get us back on track. Friends, I have the resume to get us back on track. In addition to being in the Marine Corps and serving in the U.S. Congress for 8 years, I've also been a business leadership and negotiation coach and consultant. Basically, I help individuals and businesses resolve conflict and solve problems. I will bring this unique skill set, along with my Capitol Hill experience, to solve America's problems. Friends, I believe it's possible and even necessary in our form of government to be both conservative and constructive, but without compromise, but also without crazy antics or headline-grabbing stunts that may play to a national following on Twitter feeds, but fails to really represent you here in Arizona. Politics as usual is not working, and our country is suffering for a lack of effective leadership. Friends, I will fight. I will fight for Congress to regain its constitutionally prescribed authority, namely the power of the purse through regular order, oversight of federal agencies, and long-term legislative solutions rather than short-term executive action. I will fight to shrink the size of the federal government, return 10th Amendment authorities back to the states and to the people, to regain your liberties. And I will fight to protect the lives of our citizens of our country from conception to grave so that all may live and thrive in peace and prosperity. Leadership, liberty, and life, those are the 3 anchor points and foundation of my platform as a constitutional conservative. I look forward to engaging with you and you with me in order to humbly ask for your vote to be your next representative in Washington. God bless you.